Well, good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me, Pastor Michelle. So today's bedtime story from the Disney book is going to be upcoming and forthright. Is going to be around the movie Lilo and Stitch. And the title of the book is Friends Forever. And I do hope everyone is doing okay. And I hope you have friends that are forever. So let's hear this story. Experiment 626 was a blue creature from a distant planet who was punished for being very naughty and destroying everything around him. One day, he escaped his planet in a police cruiser and headed straight for Earth. On the tiny island of Kauai was a little girl named Lilo. She found it hard to make friends and was very lonely. One night, Lilo had a fight with her sister Nanny. Lilo went to her room and slammed the door shut. Out of her window, Lilo saw a falling star and made a wish. I wish for someone to be my friend. The falling star that Lilo had seen was actually Experiment 626 ship crashing on the island. A truck driver found him and took him into an animal shelter. All the other animals were scared of 626, but he didn't care. He scrunched two of his forearms in toward his torso so he would look more like a dog. That way he'd be adopted and have a place to hide from the aliens who were chasing him. The next day, Nanny decided to take Lilo to the shelter to pick a new pet. "Hi," Lilo said when she saw 626. "Hi," the creature replied, and then he gave her a little hug. Lilo walked back to the front room and told Nanny she found the dog she wanted. "He's good, I can tell. His name is Stitch." They took Stitch home, even though Nanny thought he looked strange. Nanny was glad Lilo finally had a friend. At home, however, Stitch began to tear things apart and cause trouble for Nanny. "We have to take him back," Nanny said. "But we adopted him. What about Hohana? Dad said Hohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind, I know." She remembered how welcoming her parents had been and how important family was to them. So she changed her mind. She would give Stitch another chance for Lilo's sake. From then on, Lilo and Stitch stuck together through anything that came their way. Lilo helped Stitch learn how to behave, and Stitch became the friend that Lilo had wished for on a falling star. So, there you have it, my friends. A falling star. Catch a falling star and put... There's a song. That. When's the last time you wished upon a star? Anyway, how about we wish upon a star the next time we see one, and everyone just wish that COVID would go away. And maybe it would. So, turning back to the National Geographic, 50 most influential figures of the Bible. And guess who we're on today? It is time for the most influential figure of the Bible, in my opinion. It is time for Jesus. So here is a picture of Madonna and Child, right here. Very white. I don't think Jesus was white, but that's fine. So let's hear about Jesus. For 33 days after giving birth, Mary was not allowed to touch anything holy. Then, to restore her state of purity, Mary and Joseph made an offering in the temple. Luke confirms that Mary and Joseph were poor because instead of a lamb, they offered a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, the lesser sacrifice allowed for poor couples. And then Luke says the child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. The young boy, Jesus, would have helped his father Joseph with his daily work because male children down in Galilee were expected to follow in the trade of their fathers. Mark tells us that years later, when Jesus returned to his native Nazareth after the launch of his ministry, the people of his hometown were astonished by his words. Mark uses "So is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary and brother of James?" people were asking. Mark uses the Greek word tekton, which has traditionally been translated as carpenter, but actually means a worker or a journeyman in stone, wood, or metal. Workable wood fit for carpentry was rare and expensive in Lower Galilee and probably beyond the reach of most farmers. According to the first century historian Josephus, almost everyone in Galilee supported his family with agriculture. Indeed, many of Jesus' future parables use the language of the fields and orchards rather than that of the carpenter's shop. This has prompted some scholars to suggest that Joseph was a farmer who perhaps augmented his income with his woodworking skills. If that's true, then Jesus would have witnessed the rituals of cultivation, sowing, reaping, and harvesting in his childhood. Luke says that when Jesus was 12, if we assume that Jesus was born in the last year of King Herod's reign, his parents took him to Jerusalem once more. The occasion for this journey was the Passover festival. They stayed in Jerusalem, visited the temple, and eventually got ready to return home because they were traveling among other pilgrims from Galilee, including friends and relatives. Joseph and Mary were not surprised when they did not see Jesus walking nearby. But when they had gone a day's journey without seeing him, they became worried and decided to rush back to Jerusalem. After 3 days, they found their 12-year-old sitting in the temple, engrossed in debate with scholars and teachers of the law. Apparently, the learned men were amazed by Jesus' knowledge and understanding of the Torah. Relieved and upset in equal measure, Mary told him, "Why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great anxiety." Jesus looked up and replied, "Why are you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" Luke's story of the 12-year-old Jesus debating scholars in the temple has raised the question, where did Jesus get his education? Where the Talmud suggested that every town should have had a house of the book, a Beth Shifar, where boys could be taught in the law. This, however, was more of a pious ideal than actual practice. Nevertheless, Jesus' knowledge of the Torah must have been considerable because he is often referred to as a rabbi or a teacher in the Gospels. So here's a picture of Jesus with the doctors. And then this one above is Christ in the house with his parents. You can kind of see it. I love that story when Mary and Joseph are looking for Jesus and he's gone away. I remember one year I preached on that and I used the reference from Home Alone when the mom's like, "Kevin!" And so I remember in my sermon I said, "Jesus?" All right. Anyway. But anyway, I hope you all are doing okay. And much love to all of you. Take care and be safe out there.